Nobody argues with a bathroom door like a husky. Not when they're running or howling or doing big cinematic snow dog stuff people expect. It's when they decide some completely ordinary thing is now a violation of their rights. That's where the real personality shows up. The drama isn't random, it has a pattern. Huskies have a bizarrely consistent list of things they treat like personal offenses. So here are 9 things Huskies absolutely hate. Number 1. Huskies hate commands that feel pointless to them. A husky can hear you perfectly, understand exactly what you want, and still look at you like you just suggested something beneath them. That's what throws people off. With a lot of breeds, a command is the end of the discussion. With Huskies, it is usually the beginning of a negotiation. They're much more likely to cooperate when the request makes sense, fits the routine, or comes with a reason they actually care about. One owner put it bluntly, saying, "They're cooperative rather than obedient. They'll go along with you as long as it makes sense, which isn't as often as you'd think." That really is the breed in one sentence. A husky is far more likely to respond with, "What's in it for me?" than, "Yes, sir." They're intelligent enough to know the command, independent enough to question it, and stubborn enough to reject it if it feels pointless. So what do Huskies absolutely hate? Being told to do something just because you said so. With this breed, authority alone is rarely convincing. Number 2. Some hate cuddling, especially when forced. A lot of people get a husky expecting a giant living stuffed animal and then immediately run into a personality problem. This breed often likes affection, a lot more when it stays on their terms. In fact, owners describe dogs that want to be close, follow them everywhere, and check in constantly. But the second the affection turns into hugging, squeezing, or being held in place, the dog is done. One owner put it perfectly, saying, "If I'm on the couch, he likes to be on the other end. If I move near him, he moves over to the other end. If I leave the room, he follows. Rarely does he actually want to be cuddly. He just wants to be close by." Huskies can be affectionate without being especially cuddly, and a lot of them seem to have a low tolerance for prolonged hugs or forced snuggling. That's one of those husky traits people misunderstand. Pulling away does not necessarily mean the dog is distant. Usually, it just means the cuddling has crossed the line from affection into restraint. Number 3. Being called back when the adventure's just getting good. Freedom is basically bacon for this breed. Spend 5 minutes around husky owners and you'll keep hearing the same warning. These dogs are not the breed people trust off-leash. Not because they're confused, and not because they didn't hear you. The problem is that once a husky locks onto something more exciting, your recall command can drop to the bottom of their priority list. A smell, a squirrel, movement in the distance, a gap in the world that looks worth exploring, that can be all it takes. One owner summed it up like this: "Huskies are not off-lead dogs. They could be good for years, but one day instinct takes over and they just go." That's why so many owners sound almost paranoid about this topic. They know a husky can look completely fine right until the moment it decides the mission has changed. And once that happens, calling them back can feel less like giving a command and more like interrupting a self-assigned expedition. Number 4. Huskies hate baths. Not water, baths. A lake is a thrilling adventure. A hose can be exciting. But a tub with shampoo and human intentions? That's a completely different crime. Husky owners describe dogs that will splash outside, mess with water, or show zero fear around lakes and hoses. Then suddenly act like they've been betrayed the second an actual bath enters the picture. The water isn't always the problem. The setup is. The tub, the confinement, the washing, the fact that they know exactly where this is going. In fact, one owner described it perfectly. "If you say the word bath, he'll put his head down really low, run and hide. But he'll freely go into water like a lake. It's just something with being washed that he hates." That distinction shows up over and over in husky communities. They may be perfectly fine with water in the wild, but turn deeply offended by bath time in a bathroom. So no, it's not always water they hate. Sometimes it's the insult of being cleaned against their will. Number 5. Huskies hate warm, plush beds. People spend good money on a soft, fluffy dog bed, bring it home for their husky, and then watch the dog march right past it and flop onto the coldest patch of floor in the house. Tile, hardwood, cement, the weird draft by the door. Somehow that wins. Plenty of husky owners keep describing this same pattern. And it's not that the bed isn't necessarily being rejected because it's uncomfortable. It's being rejected because it's too warm. Many huskies seem far more interested in staying cool than in sleeping soft, which is why so many of them rotate off beds, abandon human mattresses, or go looking for cooler surfaces instead. One husky owner summed it up perfectly, saying, "The hard floor is cooler than any bed, which will hold body heat. I kept buying different ones, thinking he would like this one, but he never did." That's what people misread with this breed. A husky choosing the floor over a plush bed doesn't always mean it has bad taste. Sometimes it just means overheating is more offensive than hardwood. Number 6. Huskies hate boring lives. Silence around a husky can be a very bad sign. And it's not because they're finally calm. It's because they may have decided to solve the boredom themselves. A lot of owners don't see it coming. They think exercise should have handled it. But with this breed, doing something and doing enough are not always the same thing. A quick walk and the exact same routine every day can leave a husky with way too much brain still looking for an outlet. One owner summed it up perfectly, saying, "Someone told me once a bored husky is a destructive husky. They are 100% correct." That line keeps getting echoed for a reason. Many owners suggest changing routes, adding training games, scent work, puzzles, new challenges, anything that breaks the monotony and gives the dog something to engage with. For this breed, boredom isn't just empty time. It's often the moment the house becomes the activity. Number 7. They absolutely hate brushing. A husky can turn your house into a fur storm and still behave like the brush is a completely unreasonable response. That's part of what makes this feel so specifically husky. The shedding itself isn't the issue. They seem perfectly fine with that part. Fur on the floor, fur on the couch, fur on your clothes, fur floating through the air like the house is slowly being upholstered against your will. None of that appears to trouble them at all. The real response begins when you decide to get involved. One owner said it flat out. "Mine hate being plucked as well, and they also hate to be brushed. On a good day, he'll let me brush for a whole 45 seconds." Huskies create an absurd amount of maintenance, then often act insulted by the maintenance part. So brushing stops feeling like basic grooming and starts feeling like you've challenged the terms of an agreement they never actually signed. Number 8. The husky's fear of being left alone. A husky can take your absence way more personally than people expect. Not everyone melts down, but enough owners describe the same kind of reaction that the pattern is hard to ignore. Leave the house, shut the door, and suddenly you're dealing with howling, crying, pacing, scratching, or a dog parked by the entrance like you've abandoned them. On husky forums, people even plan their workdays around it, talking about lunch breaks, companion dogs, and whether the breed can really handle long stretches by itself. A husky owner on the forum said it like this: "Leave her alone for a half hour and I'm getting told about it. That's just the way they are." That line lands because it matches what so many people keep warning about. A lot of huskies don't just dislike isolation. They seem to object to the whole idea of being left out of the pack in the first place. Number 9. They cannot stand closed doors. Some dogs notice a closed door and let it be. Huskies seem to take it as a challenge, a protest issue, and a personal insult all at once. Put any barrier between them and their person, and suddenly the whole thing can become an event. Bathroom doors, bedroom doors, office doors, it barely matters. For a lot of huskies, the problem isn't simply separation, it's exclusion. They don't seem comfortable knowing something is happening on the other side and they're not part of it. So they scratch, whine, paw, hover outside, or in some cases, just skip the debate and figure out how to open the door themselves. One owner said it perfectly. "My husky treats a closed door like a personal insult. The second I shut one, she rushes over like I'm trying to do something fun without her." That line fits because it captures the attitude so well. With Huskies, a shut door often doesn't feel like a boundary. It feels like a decision they strongly disagree with. Hey, if you enjoyed this, you'll probably love this video here. And if you hit subscribe, I'll donate a meal to a rescue dog on your behalf.